Go figure the thief bought weighted dice.
Yeah, my sister got in trouble for gambling with loaded dice out in Brooklyn. I have a story I'll tell you about one of these days.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Stoneface Reactions. I'm Theta, this is Ray.
Hey everybody, how y'all doing?
And we are back with another episode of Record of the Lodoss War. I should say this is like the first in a series of 3 different shows, I believe.
Is it?
Well, it's like Sword War or something like that is the overall, like, you know, when you have like a series of books and you give the whole book series a name that it didn't originally have. I think people have called it Sword War because there's supposed to be like other stories. I don't know. I don't think it involves these characters. I think it's set in the same world as. So technically,
other animes.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Well, I know one of them is a joke. One of them is like a joke anime, but I think there are other like continuing stories.
Okay, that's what I want to research them because I would like them more.
Well,
I really do like this world.
Well, I remember I specifically brought this up to you when we first talked about doing these recordings. Like, what order do you want to watch them in? Because I typically go with like chronological order, but I think I decided not to do that this time for ease of getting into this. So we're just starting with what got released first, or actually just the show you specifically mentioned wanting to watch.
Gotcha.
So, other than that, I don't off the top of my head recall what the other ones are, but I should have an easy to recall list in front of me.
I think this world is still active in terms of in manga and other media. I think this world, they're still producing stuff in this world.
My problem is that my quick reference is not in English. Let's see. This is Lodoss 2 Senkai, which must mean Lodoss War. There's Lodoss 2 Senkai Iyu Kishiden. And then Lodoss War Legend of Christina. And then...
The year did you release?
No, I'm just reading in the order I have my list. Gotcha. And then Rune Soldier. And I think Rune Soldier might be the comedy. I don't know. Either way, that is what did I say? 4 different shows?
Mm-hmm.
So plenty more to do. I can't imagine that Rune Soldier is a comedy.
Doesn't sound like it is.
Only specifically because it's like 24 episodes. So the fact, why would you make a comedy longer than the original?
I mean, unless the writing is spectacular, that they can do it in 24 episodes.
It's either that or they're a bunch of shorts.
Yeah,
but maybe it's the Crystal one or Christina, because I know like whatever. There is a conceit that I've seen that the jokey one, people are arguing that it's not actually in the world, and it's like, no, it's actually set on a different island or something like that. Like, I don't know any actual information other than trying to collect the show names that are part of this world, and then in that getting a bit of like, no, it's actually not part of it. It's like, oh no, it is. Everyone agrees it is. You're wrong. You know, the Reddit conversations.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I mean, plenty to get through, even after we finish Record of the Lodoss War.
For sure, and like I said before, I think there's still. I mean, if anyone out there wants to go beyond the anime, there's definitely a lot more stuff out there. I think there's even video games on this in this world.
Probably. I'd imagine.
No, there is. I've seen it.
Well, you asked it in a questioning way, so I just kind of like, I'll go along with. Why not? Probably. If not, somebody probably made one. Well, I don't know. I told you before I was a big fan of Tower of Druaga, which itself is also based on a video game, which itself was also based on Pac-Man. So. Oh
yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah,
I remember you mentioned that about Pac-Man. That sounds interesting. The fact that there's a whole world based on Pac-Man.
Oh,
or at least inspired by.
Sorry, yeah, inspired might have been the word to use. But the idea that there's an anime out there, which, by the way, also got an MMO made about it.
Really?
Yeah. I have to imagine there's also a manga. I think there's a manga as well. So the order of events is Pac-Man, then the game that was inspired by Pac-Man, and then an anime. Actually, it might have been the manga. I don't know. Same thing we did in episode 2. I don't know. Either way. And then an MMO, which never came out over here.
Well, the reason I'm saying that because I remember this year, was it this year? Amazon came out with some animation based off of video games. And there was an animation that was inspired by Pac-Man, but it was so dark. It was so crazy. I'm like, how did they get that out of Pac-Man? So I'm curious to see what you saw that was that was inspired by Pac-Man, that they made a game and manga out of it, which would be interesting to know. So,
well, I told you in the first, in Tower of Draga.
Wait, when you get a chance, send me the name of that. You could text that to me if I can do it.
I just told you 3 times in a row.
There you go. So I have it.
Well, I mean, sorry, I've been thrown by the fact that I just told you 3 times in a row. I had something else I was going to say. I can't remember now.
I'm sorry.
No, it wasn't important. It was actually continuing on that conversation, which is, wholly unrelated to record of Lodoss War to begin with. Yeah. Oh no, it was just that show that you were talking about. I didn't watch any of it.
Oh, the Amazon show.
Yeah, because like the only one I would have been interested in is the Mega Man one, but all the other games I wasn't interested in at all. So there's no point in watching a show about a game that I'm not interested in.
I watched it solely because I wanted to see the animation. A lot of these people are animators who are not out there. They're trying to make a name for themselves through these type of shows. These
I was just watching Love, Death, and Robots.
Yeah, which I love too. I love watching that, But I like looking at how we're animated and what they're doing with the animation. So I love watching because of that.
Fair enough. Obviously, I'm only into the anime part of the anime spectrum. Well, I tend to stick away from the CGI stuff and whatnot because it's not what I don't know. I'm not like saying there's anything bad about it, except for where I'm saying there's something bad about it.
Well, it all depends. To me, it all depends. How they're using the animation. Because sometimes you can. I've seen it. What they did on Amazon and what they did was the Netflix show. The animation, which is not anime style, it's not hand drawn. A lot of it is it's quite amazing what they do nowadays. And if it fits the story they're telling, and a lot of them, the story is just fantastic. It's quite beautiful what they're doing with the animation. I just like the art of it. As opposed to like when I watched the episode of that Pac-Man one, which made no sense to me. I still don't know what the hell that animation was about, other than that it was inspired by Pac-Man. But it was beautiful, like the way they put it together and how it was animated, how it looked, the movement, the fluid. It was excellent. I just like the way it looked.
I mean, it also just be a matter of studio too. Like Netflix has a lot of money to put into a studio, but if you're like just trying to put the money together, get the project done, then you might not have it. Because I always think about, like, people said that, say, Trigun Stampede looked amazing. And then compare that to the original Trigun, which is actual classic animation. It's like, no, this looks bad. This looks bad, and I don't understand why you people are saying it looks good. I think they're saying that it looks good because they want the animation studio to do good, right? Because it's not their fault if people don't like the style of animation, if they are, in fact, pushing the boundaries of what you can do with it. But if I don't like where it is, it's not my responsibility to try and support a up-and-coming industry if I don't enjoy it.
No, I get you. I understand that. I respect that. But I don't know. At least in my part, I just like watching what they're doing, how it's coming nowadays, and the state of animation nowadays, where what people can do.
Yeah, no, and I understand the counterpoint part of it. Like if a lot of the stuff I enjoy these days comes from an industry that looked like shit back in the day. And if you didn't support it back in the day, you might not get what you have today.
Yeah.
It just, I understand there's the element of speaking with your wallet, right? That if you don't support the stuff that you won't get what you want. And otherwise, if you support the stuff that you don't like, by investing in it, you support the things that got them there. Like when everyone was boycotting Blizzard, for example, for, one, their internal practices, but also their international politics, that you support that when you put your wallet to it, because all they hear is dollar signs. So at the same point, if you don't support what you do want, then you're not going to get more of the stuff that you like, which is also, the argument against piracy.
Gotcha.
So I understand both sides of the point. It's just, if I don't like it, I don't like it.
No, you don't like it. No one can make you change otherwise.
Which is why I'll never watch JoJo's.
And why you will not read any fantasy books.
Yeah. I judge books by their cover, I guess. I don't know.
You like what you like.
The thing you're not supposed to do. Well, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to for a fantasy book, I guess, to pop out at me. Because again, I have no idea why I read Incarnation's Mortality to begin with, but love that series. Oh, there is one. Actually, there is one. The same guy who wrote Incarnations of Mortality wrote Xanth. You ever heard of Xanth? Xanth.
No.
It is the dude wrote like a book a year, sometimes 2 books a year for Xanth. I remember specifically when I had my gallbladder taken out, I was just like laying on the bed listening to an audiobook of like 36 books, playing it constantly.
Jesus.
Well, the thing about Xanth is it's supposed to be like fantasy Florida.
Oh, that sounds, but it's 36 books though.
Well, they're rarely like in sequence of characters. It's all the same setting, and like the background elements of previous books can have weight on future books, but they tend to be like new characters and everything every book. When I say fantasy Florida, I mean like in one book they literally pierce the veil or whatever and are in actual Florida because the map of Xanth is literally just Florida.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds interesting.
Piers Anthony, I believe, if anyone ever wants to look that up.
I've definitely heard that name.
Yep. Well, Incarnation of Mortality, Xanth.
Yeah, we'll look into it.
All right, well, we've spoken nothing about Record of Lodoss War. You ready to hop into the next episode?
I'm ready, yes, sir.
All right, let's do it.
But before we get started,
make sure that you hit the like button,
hit that subscribe button,
comment down below to feed that algorithm.
On top of all that, if you want to watch more shows like this, unfiltered,
uncensored,
and uncut,
as well as some early access stuff,
you can check it out over on the Patreon.
It's just $5 a month, but hey, no pressure.
There's zero pressure in order to do that. It's just a little bit of extra support, and it would be greatly appreciated.
Who would have guessed it? I would say that quite obviously the Lelia Carla thing was the biggest thing from last episode. But what would be the second biggest thing?
That she captured the princess?
Well,
that's a big move. That's a move. That's a chess move.
Well, I guess my argument there is that it's not. You're right. It's big. It's a big thing, but it's not a surprising thing. So I guess I didn't indicate any. I didn't indicate any level of surprise. Well, my thing was that I said immediately when he said that the princess, oh, she's gonna get captured. So it wasn't a big. Yeah, I mean, big things can be for different people, right? You can regard it as big because you're considering the larger picture of the storyline. I'm considering it not big because it wasn't surprising to me. Different definitions of big.
But it could have been surprising had it been who captured her. I think the fact that it was Layla that captured her as opposed to a bunch of orcs.
You're already referring to her by that name.
You know? I mean, Carla, excuse me.
Well, again, I thought that it was going to be Marmo that captured her, and technically Carla, Lelia, whatever, is operating on their behalf in some aspect. Although, you know, the argument would be saying, where is she going to appear if she appears in this episode? Is she going to take the princess back to Beld?
Oh, put in the labyrinth? That way they could force her trapped down there?
I don't think they would do that. Only specific is they'd have to show it to us. And I don't think that this episode's going to focus on that because we're going to be in a desert, apparently.
Oh, we saved her.
Did we? What? When did that happen? It seemed like we were fucked.
Yeah, I thought they had. I thought she still had her.
Imagine that happening in your D&D game. Guys, I'm sorry, I gotta go. We gotta end the session. And you come back. So, after succeeding, like, what? I thought we were all dead.
But I still think that she pulled off what she needed to pull off.
Also, she looks a lot like the mayor's daughter from episode 2.
That's your right.
Well, this was not earned at all. To the point where I would almost suspect one of them is in a dream right now.
Really?
Well, that's what I would... tropes, common tropes. But I guess this is how Parn meets the king. You look a lot like Theseus.
That would be funny when I said that. I really was under the impression that she still had the princess. But
I think most people would.
This still, though, makes her move valid. Like, she still put fear into this king, you know, for him to make a move or something.
Right.
If that's the case.
Her mission was accomplished. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's still just a very jarring thing. Like, it did not seem like they won at the end of the episode, unless I was too much into the argument with you about Carla lately, a thing to remember. I pity your name. But Mycen doesn't exist anymore unless this is the past. Mycen got burnt to the ground. New kingdom, though, which means new colors on the board. Probably going to be green for the Kingdom of Moss.
Green already.
I can change colors. It's not that hard. Oh, did I invoke the Forest of Sadness too soon? No, she knows the glue spell. Okay, so Carla is infatuated with Kashu. That or she's setting
Did he see?
Kashu. Well,
Did he see that?
He's got an eye patch. He was facing the wrong way.
His peripheral vision is a little affected by this.
She's either infatuated with Kashu or she's setting up Kashu to go against Beld. I guess that makes sense. I'm sorry, did we like skip 7 episodes? Like, what is going on? Legitimately, if we didn't get that scene with Kashu, I would think that like they'd cast Dominate Person or like Suggestion or something. Like the whole party's still going to be standing there in front of the tree, and none of this is happening.
Someone's sleeping.
Well, I mean, literally, this doesn't feel right. Something is wrong here. Said the dwarf.
It was a 6.
Theseus. Oh, no, Fawn. Okay, Fawn was part of the group. Wort? I'm guessing nobody right. I guessed him before. Never mind, guessed wrong again. Okay, we're just showing them as like matches to their previous counterparts. I got it now.
Yeah.
It only took me 3.
They're the new 6, I guess.
From space? Okay, never mind. I thought it was the back of a spaceship. I was gonna say, very clearly this guy was dressed like one of Cashu's men. So Parn knows who this is.
All right, the initial reaction sounded like they didn't want to meet. They want him in there. They're like, huh? They're frightened.
Cool, another F name.
Oh, that's it? Just a sword?
Some would say that's a move of a conqueror.
Really?
Or a despot. Meanwhile, nowhere. I should have guessed. Holy Knights, they had the cross on their chest. Also slightly... See, red blood. So that means that it can't be censorship for the goblins.
Yeah, I guess you're right. I guess it's just a goblin thing.
Probably should have been able to say that already because of the fact Jerba had red blood.
Yeah, you're right.
Again, I was saying though, slightly confused. They refer to him as the Marmo. She is a blusher. I say the scene after she stops blushing. I do enjoy it when they animate the eyeballs.
It's like it conveys a sense of like either awe, whatever they're looking at, they're looking in awe.
Yeah, but it's better when, you know, he's doing it, and if she turns to look and her eyes are just normal.
Yeah.
So Parn's player invited his girlfriend to the group. Let's hear to that, or we just miss a lot of backstory between these two, where they like developed anything between each other.
Well, it's definitely becoming more apparent now, if that's the case.
Again, remember in the prologue, he's going to say, "Leave, I don't care." So.
Yeah.
Oh, please tell everyone how you're cheating them. So a guy I suspect we're going to see later on the Marmo side.
Well, oh.
Go figure the thief bought weighted dice.
Yeah, you know, my sister got in trouble for gambling with loaded dice out in Brooklyn. I have a story I'll tell you about one of these days. Was that him? I guess so.
Naba, yeah. I guess from now on, when I say manipulated by Marmo, just imply Carla is what I'm talking about. I also think it's pretty dumb. I understand what they're doing about his hands locked up and he's got like the ball and chain on it, but you're giving him a weapon. And not only that, also the means to break himself out of it. Put the ball on the ground and then start smashing the wood that your hands are in against
honestly. And it looks like a big guy could probably swing it around with no problem.
And then you got a chain with a ball on it after your hands are free.
Hey, Carla's taking more of a proactive action this episode.
The last two.
But he's infatuated with his king.
I mean, pretty progressive, I guess. For, what is this, the 80s?
80s, yeah.
They have a
early 90s
gay protagonist? I guess fair enough. The only way to get him to pay attention is to throw his balance off. I'm willing to bet that this guy's going to go there to try and kill Kashu, and he's going to get distracted by drink. As per the story.
I'm just left there.
Well, I mean, that's a bit unexpected. But also, once again, they're gonna go back to arguing because of the prologue. Well, looks like I was wrong about the drink thing.
Oh, she cast a spell on him.
Remember, kids, don't throw swords. Can't even beat a guy slowed down by mind control.
But it's still the baby dream. He's brave or stupid. Oof.
Yeah, it's a bit of a fine line.
With him, it is.
Well, no, I mean, he'd be too stupid to know he needs to be brave. That's so brave, he does something that's stupid. Yeah, maybe this guy didn't get distracted by drink because Gim drank all the drink.
That would have been funny if still he would have been distracted and snapped out of it when he had a drink.
Well, just the idea that he drank so much and killed a guy, that's how much he needs the drink. That his unconscious mind would go to that place too. It's the Black Gate. Oh god, I gotta. It's an Ultima Online reference, not Ultima reference. I just got thrown off. Well, now I will. Do you think the circlet glows with light because it's the goddess of light?
As opposed to it being red or something? Or darker?
Yeah, darkness. The whole area could be like billowing in shadow, but it's not. It could be. I'm assuming this is the father of Prince Jester. Nope, never mind. Just meeting. I am wrong with holdups. Well, I thought it was Prince Jester is coming for some reason for the Kingdom of Moss. So I thought it was the Kingdom of Moss is standing up to Ashram's advance.
Mm.
ではパン、敵軍は人間だけではないのだな。はい。我々も偵察にてそれを確認しております。北の国境はすでにもう。そんなバカな。
So Moss to the north, Canaan to the east.
明朝前線に救援を送る。は。ならば私が。
I guess they're implying that Valis is going to be in the center. Wait a second, that doesn't make any sense. Marmo is to the south of Lodoss, so why did they land their armies in the north?
Maybe because what at least expecting them to attack them at? I mean, it'll be the less protected area, probably, if that's the case.
Well, no, because there's a continent to the north, so you might suspect that you're going to be invaded from the north. Also, it's a whole kingdom. They should be probably defending all of their borders. Yeah, let's not discuss this very important thing right now.
We're in a party. At least 6 people, I imagine. And some sort of, I don't know, fellowship. A fellowship, if you will. A fellowship. There's a lot.
A fellowship of the king.
Get from Lord of the Rings from this.
It's the fellowship of the king.
This fellowship of Pun. Well, it's the moment he wanted. Did he have that blade before?
Yeah, he had it back in the Shining Hill scene. Because he pulls it out to the Shining Hill scene. Okay, so good sword, evil sword.
Pretty cool.
I have the power.
Sword of Omens.
Sight beyond sight.
Beyond sight. So those are the original 5? Missing Carla?
Well, 6.
宿命に彩られた戦乱がロードスを覆う。殺戮の大地に新たなる光は宿るか。次回ロードス当選記第6話暗黒王の剣。ロードスの平和は俺が守る。
I mean, I'm definitely going to have to revamp the board to also display members of the old party and members of the new party as a separator. Because I went over them, but I'm obviously got nothing in my head because I was so thrown by the first three showing us members of the party.
We have
Fawn, Beld. They showed us a King Dwarf guy.
Yeah.
It was probably an elf because it's 1-for-1 with everything. And the magic
definitely
user.
the dwarf. So that could have been the original 5 then. Oh.
No, it was. They said it was the adventurers. It's
Was one of them a dwarf?
Beld, Fawn. Yeah, it was the King Dwarf guy. It was the king because they showed us Gim. And I said, Gim was one. And then they showed us the older guy in the picture.
Gotcha. That's why you've been thinking for a long time. Got it. Okay.
There had to have been an elf. I just don't remember. That's already 4, which then would imply Carla and Wart, which we already know.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, to the joke for half a second. Clearly, the demon sword has to be the Sword of Omens because it's got the eyeball in it, which would have to make his Keyman sword, which I can't remember, Sword of Power?
The Sword of Power. The Sword of Power. It looks a lot like the Sword of Omens. When you look over the eye, and you're like, wow, that looks really similar.
And not only that, but it kind of lets them do things at a distance. So...
I like it. I like to see the glowing effect they have on it to show that it's magical and whatnot. So I do like that effect on it. But I was not expecting. Well, I don't remember the prince who just walked in on his dragon.
Oh yeah. Well, you mean the king? Oh no, you mean the Prince Jester. Yeah,
Prince Jester. I don't remember. I don't remember him at all. Definitely don't remember that dude.
Well, he'll be on the board. He had a name. That's the bare minimum to get on the board.
And he's the one riding a dragon, which is pretty badass.
Yeah, but apparently they're losing too. I assume that that Marmo must have wyverns or something.
Probably, right? He's going to have to find a way to defend it. Unless he has like those scorpions that can just shoot into the air and whatnot, But I don't know. We'll see.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, they have to have an equivalent air force of some sort.
Well, if you look at, remember, if there's dragons, they probably have dragons too. We saw that in the beginning with the tapestry. There was dragons on both sides. So,
well, there was a dragon on both sides. These seem to be something else.
They seem to be a lot less than what your typical dragon would be like. When I first saw them, I thought they were like a wyvern over a dragon. He called it a dragon, and they seem to be smaller than definitely smaller than that green dragon we saw in the first episode.
It could be the conceit of what is a dragon to people who aren't used to seeing dragons.
Yeah,
this is a giant fucking flying lizard thing. I'm gonna call it a dragon. And it turns out the people who actually like Nice, who's like, oh, this is actually a fucking dragon. So yeah, the people who know and the people who don't know.
Yeah.
Or they're just adolescent dragons or baby dragons.
It could be a young dragon.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like this episode for the lore that they gave us about the old adventuring party. Like, they spelled out who everyone was, which was all right. Not a big fan of how it opened, though. Oh, thank you for saving the princess. You left?
It wasn't clear. Yeah, that wasn't clear in the previous episode that she was saved. They were all there. She was there. The witch was there, but it wasn't. Like, you would think there would have been a battle, but it looked like she disappeared and took her with her. That's what I would have thought.
The last thing I remember, so maybe I'm just completely forgetting, was a lightning striking the thing that the lightning had struck a bunch of times, and then we were looking at the overturned carriage, and that's when I said the whole thing about, oh god, that tree is fucking huge, because the carriage looked like a toy, and then the tree, we just panned up it, and then the episode ended, didn't it?
Yeah, that's how it ended. So the fact that she was kidnapped and returned, or saved, that was pretty jarring. That they showed it the way they did.
That was not good. Like I said, I felt like I was almost going to start checking. Am I in the right episode? Did I just start playing the wrong episode? Because it was no fight. She had you dead to rights, and there was nothing.
Do you think that was a budget thing?
it might have been how it happened in the story. The GM was like, I can't kill my whole fucking party. I got more story to tell. I wrote a whole notebook. I gotta keep going.
Yeah, it would have been. Well, I'm gonna assume they didn't fight the witch because they definitely didn't have the power to fight her. And the witch was pretty much like, yeah, I did what I had to do. I can have her back. Because she didn't kill her. She could have killed her. She could have killed the princess.
Could have done anything.
Yeah, but I'm saying it would have still worked her way had she killed her.
I mean, it seems like she has telekinesis by the fact she stopped the sword that was thrown at her. So they were on like cliff edge. She just yeeted the whole party.
Yeah. And she definitely does that because she can use that same power to stop the sword from being unsheathed.
Yeah. So I have to assume, I mean, maybe the GM is winging it.
Yeah, it could be.
Maybe I can't kill my whole party, so I have to give my bad guy a motivation for why they didn't kill the party.
Yeah, but it doesn't come off well on screen, though.
Oh, it certainly doesn't. It was very jarring.
Well. Yeah.
It's my first real negative about the show so far. It's like, hopefully we don't do more of this, but at the same time, it'd be like if we started next episode and we're halfway to works. I was like, well, what about the whole king sword thing that we were doing?
We wake up the next episode, Gim is dead somehow. Like, what the hell? Why is Gim dead? Like, so is that it's crucial to the story how they got to that point, and that part was missing.
Yeah, I've watched plenty of shows that have indicated that events are taking place between each episode, but they don't typically cliffhanger anything. Like Volta's 5, right? Volta's 5 is frequently, okay, we won the battle, we went back home, next episode start, right? And in the episodes where things continue, like Volta's 5 destroyed, Volta's 5 resurrected, they're same day. They're like all the same day. So it would be insane. Volta's 5 destroyed, and the next episode, so what are you guys doing this weekend? It'd be insane.
Yeah.
That's what I feel like would happen. It's worse from the aspect that neither of us remember that Carla just left or something.
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that was a budget thing. But if we see that again over and over again, then that's like, okay, wait a minute.
How is that a budget thing, though?
I don't remember the amount of time. It could have been a writing and more animation part to it that they have to cut this out, but if we can't, maybe they had it and cut it out. Who knows?
The aspect about that makes animation so great is that everything on screen is intentional. It's not like when you're recording a video and a happy accident happens, like an actor flubs a line, but it's better than it was before, or something happens in the background and he captured it and it makes the scene better. That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in anime. Well, I didn't look it up when I was doing the previous research. But that doesn't happen in anime. The animator doesn't accidentally animate something in the background. Everything is done with work and purpose. So their choice not to show us Carla going away or the fight ending or anything like that was a choice. I don't understand how that could be budget. If anything, you take the scene of Carla appearing, you play it in reverse, Carla disappears, and then boom, it's an answer. You don't animate a new scene, you just do the same scene you already had in reverse. Anime does it all the time, especially in the 80s and 70s.
I get you. I don't know. I don't know why they chose to do it this way. But again, what we said before, like, I don't repeat myself, that has been jarring, but hopefully we don't see any more of that anymore. Hopefully there'll be more, oh, okay, we did that, we saw her do this, we saw that. Yeah, because there was no battle. And the fact that she was winning everything, even though, like you said, that there were once her, she had Pawn under control, she had the wizard under control, definitely stopped that sword that Pawn threw, even though he fought through it. I give him credit for that. He fought through whatever she was throwing at him. But it looked like she took off with the princess. That's what I felt at the end of the episode. So when it came off, like the way it showed off, so the idea of me saying budget thing, I'm just wondering was there supposed to be a fight between her and Pawn or whatever, and then maybe they didn't do that, or I guess we have to look up and do the search on it.
If her point was to do a thing to the princess to inspire the group to then do the thing that they have to do, she's using them viewpoint, then there still should have been something to indicate to us, or not to even us, to the party, right, that there's a threat here that needs to be fought. Because otherwise, they've never encountered Carla before. This is some random witch in the woods. This is the witch in the woods, essentially. You would think that the witch is just here in the woods. You'd leave and you'd think, oh, nothing of it anymore.
But I also find that interesting that Carla is showing herself. She could still do all this in the shadows, but she's chosen to present herself.
My problem herein is the argument that comes to my head is based on your point that Carla isn't the person that she's inhabiting, in which case she could just inhabit people.
No, but they would never know there's a witch involved.
That's my point, though. If she's just inhabiting a body, then the point seems to stand that she could just inhabit other people's bodies. In which case, you'd never know as a witch because it'd be 100 different people doing 100 different things.
Mm.
You know, she inhabits the queen's body. I don't see there's a queen, so maybe she inhabits the princess's body, whispers to the king something, you know, inspire the king to do something that way. Then she inhabits the King Kashu's body, and then gets his men to do a thing.
But it could be there's significance in the fact that she's using the priest's daughter. Maybe there's something significant about that particular.
It would be significant.
Why is that funny? You mocking me for saying that? Why is that wrong?
It is because Lelia is insignificant as a character to us right now.
But we don't.
The only person that cares about her is a priestess we know next to nothing about, and Gim, who also is not important beyond being an adventurer. So the players at on the world level, King Fawn and all them, who is Lelia to them? Nobody. I guess at best, sorry, if you're about to point and say Parn to somebody to King Fawn, and that's the manipulation factor, I'm on board with you there. If you weren't about to say that, say what you were going to say.
What I'm about to say maybe is supposed, so I'm going to keep it quiet. Because I'm only saying that because and remember, I don't remember everything, but there may be a reason why she was chosen over anybody else. And I think it has to do with the priestess, not Gim so much, though Gim was a whatever. I don't think it has to do with anything with Gim, to be honest with you. But it could be something that has to do with the priestess and that dragon that we saw in the beginning.
But she's not appearing to anybody.
Doesn't mean it's not going to affect you in the future. How many times we saw things set up to be accomplished later on?
How many times have we seen something?
I mean, not a particular show, but there's times that we've seen shows where things are set up and put in places.
Not in this particular show. That's the thing, though. Is if the show
I'm gonna stay quiet. I'm gonna stay quiet for the next 5 episodes and see what you figure out, and then we'll slowly chuckle as you make the any points you want to put together.
So my normal commenters.
Yes, I guess
you're gonna become the comment section. No, my point was that your point that Lelia is important because of who her mother or the dragon are. She doesn't appear to her mother or the dragon, though. So how is that important? Other than the fact that, again, nobody recognizes who Lelia is, and she identifies herself as Carla. Oh, you're literally going to be silent for the next 5 episodes.
I'm not going to say big. I don't want to be laughed at. That's okay.
So you're not into jokes. You're not into telling jokes.
No, you're fine. I'm fine into telling jokes, but if I'm gonna have a point, well, it doesn't matter. Listen, the thing is, that's what I think.
I understood what you were talking about.
There's actually a possibility that it may be other players outside the fact that people haven't seen yet. We just saw somebody show up. We don't know what he's gonna do or what other parts he's gonna play.
What are you talking about? Prince Moss or King Kashu?
Prince, the prince that just showed up.
I'd assume nothing because his kingdom's falling. The same way that I don't anticipate the king of Canaan, who we saw getting dragged away, to have much to do with the story anymore either. In fact, he wasn't even named, was he?
I don't know.
The king of Canaan.
Was he mentioned?
No, we saw him on screen at the very beginning of the episode, or nearest the beginning of the episode. He gets dragged away.
Which I think, I'm assuming they killed him. I think it looks that way because he spilled the wine, and that looks like it was a death sentence.
Well, the idea that the prologue starts with the two kingdoms having already fallen, and now Canaan has fallen off screen. So I don't anticipate we're going to see anything from them, since it seems like the prologue takes place from the midpoint of the show. So it seems like Prince Moss showing up to say that the border fortresses of the north have already fallen. It seems like it's going to go the same way as was Alania? Alania is going to go the same way as Canaan is going to go the same way as Moss. All right. Well,
Perhaps.
I mean, that's just my viewpoint right now. Obviously, future me tends to be smarter than past me.
Well, that's the case for all of us, isn't it?
Well, yeah, but it's also, the unfortunate bit of how time works. Past me makes all the mistakes that future me has to then deal with, but future me is smarter than past me, so past me is the stupid one making mistakes.
But we'll see. I mean, obviously, there is something that she's doing, and there's a reason why she keeps appearing. Again, not seeing in a while, I just finding it quite interesting that she's taking a lot of things, like she's doing a lot of moves and appearing to everybody.
I mean, it's better than a Xanatos gambit.
But she's playing both sides. You see what I'm saying? Like she's one of this going on and that going on. You know what I'm saying? Like she's talking to both sides.
No, I understand that, but if this was, say, like Xanatos Gambit, she would do something in the very beginning, and then all of her plans would go through because she would know, like, where the dominoes would fall. In this aspect, she's, like, appearing, like, 3 times an episode now. So it's not that she's, like, made one plan knowing how everything would go. She's like, okay, now I've got to do this to make sure that this person does this, so I have to show up again later at that point to ensure that when they do that, they're then going to do the next thing that I need them to do. So she's doing a lot, but I anticipate it's because every step of the way she's got to make sure that part B goes to part C, goes to part D.
And she got to do her stuff. I guess she doesn't trust anybody else to do it either, though.
Like I said before, the element that she's playing people to make sure that certain things happen. She goes to the princess to make sure that the princess... I don't know why she told the princess what she told the princess. That seems like it's going against her own plan. But then again, this is one of those anime where people don't say everything that they know to everybody. Like, I'm not going to tell anybody about that conversation. But anyway, it makes sure that Parn's group is the one that rescues her, so that Parn then goes back to the king, who has a pre-existing relationship with Theseus, he's going to be predisposed towards Parn, because apparently whatever happened between him and Theseus was good for the king, not so great for Theseus. So then when Prince Moss shows up and says we've got to do a thing, we've got to form the fellowship, and then they suggest Parn, the king is going to be like, okay, because I'm predisposed, which all feels like manipulations from one event from Carla's interference.
And to have them, that same group, go out that way. Because that's why she appeared to them. That had to be the reason why she appeared to them, you know?
No idea. No idea what the messing around with the Kashu is, though.
Yeah, I don't know that either. Well, she appeared to him. She appeared. Did she give him a vision? No, it wasn't a vision she gave him.
No, she just appeared to him.
What did she say to him?
I can give you Lodoss.
I can get Lodoss. That's what she said, and then that's where he got pissed off.
Well, she did that to him in the woods, and then she reinforces it at the castle when he's training with Parn. So, is there any point in saying that in front of Parn? Is it like supposed to give doubt to Parn about Kashu?
About his hero?
I mean, apparently not, because again, they're in the prologue, and Kashu's standing there off to the side in the prologue.
Yeah, because at that point, they already went out on that mission.
Well, Parn appears in the prologue, too. Like, before they go off on their mission, Parn is kneeling before King Fawn.
Oh, yeah.
So, either that was a prologue in the prologue?
I know. That first episode, though.
Yeah, it's very confusing. Maybe they made episode 2 to 11 and then realized there was a bunch of stuff they didn't have time to foreshadow in the episodes, and were like, well, what if we make a prologue? And then everyone can think about the prologue every episode.
That might be it, because it really does feel like an afterthought. You know, like the way episode 2 and the rest of them are put together, it seems a bit more organized. Not that it's fully organized, because especially with the pocket we just had now with the queen, not the queen, the witch. What you said there, after the first couple of us put together, it sounds like that's exactly what happened. That sounds more plausible.
Because the only thing that occurs to me is that the character relationships don't make sense after the prologue. Because again, think back to this Parn, and then, the Parn who says, if you're going to keep fighting, leave then, I don't care. What happens there? Oh, fun dancing with you, now leave, I don't care.
Yeah, again, it is confusing. I think at some point we may have to not think about associate too much. Dissociate the first episode for what?
I don't think I'm capable of that.
It's leading a lot to confusion, but we'll see. Let's see how Way gets to, because we might have those aha moments.
Yeah, I mean, it's what I do all the time. Even though most of the time it's aha, I was wrong.
It happens. I mean, I know me and the guys have been wrong a million times in Babylon 5. A couple right, but a lot wrong.
The chuckle was because, again, you guys don't take the notes the same way that I do. So the benefit of being wrong in the moment is you won't tend to forget. You won't tend to remember unless they were your big thoughts.
Gotcha.
I remember times, not specifics, just like times you said, what if they, and then just go off with the rest of the episode. And it's never been a thing that you've brought back up before. So the element of, if one thought in an hours long episode just doesn't carry through, you're more likely to just not remember it because it didn't happen. It's not important. You were wrong, but you didn't put all your eggs in that basket, so it didn't matter. Whereas me, I've got this notepad that's pages long, but I'm constantly looking back through to cross-reference my own thoughts. I'm constantly being reminded of what stupid theories I might have had in the past. All right. Final thought.
I'm hoping we don't have any jarring situations. I hope the next episode doesn't open up with missing info.
I mean, I don't think they left us in the same situation, other than the king thing. The two king's swords thing. If they were supposed to have a conversation explaining, King Fawn, this is actually what I'm up to, or, get out here so we can fight like kings, or, whatever they're actually up to. And instead...
or the episode with the death of Parn. What the hell? How did he die? By the way, I mentioned Gim dying and Parn dying. I'm just saying it. Don't read into it. I'm not giving out any spoilers. I'm just...
My problem
is...
if
that was the case.
My problem is that I do not suspect this is that type of show.
Oh, no, not at all either. But I'm just saying, but that type of information was
As an example, I told you before that I'm watching a show called War in the Pocket. This is 6 episodes long, and it's centered around the kids in the war. The show ends with them hold all the kids from the school, holding a banner that says Happy New Year. So if you ever see me post a Happy New Year image from Gundam, that's where that comes from.
Okay.
My impetus that I said during an episode is, well, now I have no fear of the kids dying. Because we're one... Well, the 1 year war is not a huge spoiler. It's just the war ends at the end of the year, essentially. So them holding up a banner saying Happy New Year indicates they're alive at the end of the war. But also the end credits are also them with a bunch of downed mobile suits and everything like that, implying that all of the stuff that's happened here at the start of the show to the end of the show is across the line of credits. So they must survive. I'm no longer afraid of the worst thing happening, which is the kids dying. So, to be fair, though, the show is more than just the kids. So,
okay,
and
gotcha.
That is the kind of show where I would have a feel of, okay, this is a war is awful show. So, if there was a show that was going to kill all these kids, that would be the one. So, legitimate fear there. The credits assuage me of that fear. This is a show which is very clearly coded. Good defeats evil. And I do not foresee this is going to be the kind of show, now I'm talking about this out loud, I can kind of see that Gim might sacrifice himself for Lelia, if that turns out to be the case. get back to your mother, tell her I loved her, whatever, But at a 12-episode run, I don't know that they can build that kind of emotional resonance to have that happen and then pay off. And then I have to think that they would be smart enough to know of that limitation. But then again, you're not usually that way when you're painting a blatant good versus evil story. So I don't know.
Well, it also depends, I guess, how they format the episode with the character, if that was to happen, right? For example, let's say going based on what you said, that let's say Gim sacrificed himself for Layla, right? We've been seeing him at least 2 episodes now struggling with the fact that he wants to find her, right? He's looking for her, but now we saw that he got to see her, at least an image of her, or I saw her in The Witch, and now he's struggling with the fact, like he's been very somber since then. So if they continue building that will make at least that storyline heavy, as opposed to any other storyline that's been going on.
The problem is that it's 12 episodes. Yeah, the thing is that if I was looking at this from the outside, right, and saying, what are we going to do in this many episodes, and where we're at now in episode 5, you could do so many amazing things, but you would have so little time to pay them off or explore them. And that's why I'm thinking that it would be problematic if they did them, because then you would so be left wanting more, and there is no more. So, the element of he sacrifices, say Gim sacrifices himself to save Layla. Like, what situation would that happen in? Like, maybe they're going to kill Carla for being the evil and for everything she's done or whatever. And then he's like, no, and jumps in front of the blade. And then they're taken back or given pause by the fact that their own ally, they've now killed their own ally in regards of not saving her, or he's given up his life instead of her. And it's like, where do you go after that? Nowhere, because the story has no room left to go anywhere.
Gotcha. Okay, I understand what you're saying. I see where you're coming from here, but who knows? Impactful, maybe not so impactful, but I mean, it may be something emotional eventually can come out of it. Not super. I lost my mind. I'm crying. Oh my god, the wet wording just happened. Nothing like that. But I still think they can make. I mean, especially since they are. You can see his struggle with what's going on with her. So. But it probably won't be like you said, something super major where we can't stop talking about it.
Yeah, again, I guess that's just my worry, though. My worry that they're going to try and bite off more than they can chew or more than they have time to chew.
Gotcha.
Final thought?
Nope. Looking forward for the next one. That was good. That was what, the Desert King?
Yeah. All right, then. Once again, I have been Theta. This has been Ray. We've been Stoneface Reactions. Check out our nights, and we will catch you next time. Bye-bye.
Take care, guys.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching another Stoneface Reactions. If you have an idea of another video we could go ahead and watch, go ahead and put it in the comments down below and we'll add it to the wheel. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and let us know what you thought about this video, what parts you liked. And until then, we'll see you next time. Is this too goofy?